Starting at, and we're back. What's up, y'all? It's John back here with another edition of Head MMA. Promising to bring you guys just a lighter side of the sport. Today we're going to switch gears again this week. I know everyone's probably surprised about how many podcasts I've pumped out this week. I think this would be number 4 or 5 or 6, but within the last week. But nonetheless, you got to strike when the iron's hot. So today we're going to do our very first boxing edition of Head Movement MMA because we are dealing with combat sports in general. And I got a very good friend of mine who I would consider my subject matter expert, my ace, my right-hand man, my big brother, Mr. Pro P. Go ahead and give him a shout out, Paul. Say hi to the people.
How y'all doing?
Yeah, he's soft spoken, but so he's also he's big into boxing. We were both big into boxing growing up, but over time, I kind of got more into MMA. But Paul is stayed a heavy fan of boxing. So he's now getting into MMA. He's starting to understand it a little bit, so he can speak upon MMA a little bit. But when it comes to boxing, my knowledge is nothing compared to his and just his point of view. So I figured we'll just bring him on, get his thoughts, and we'll weigh everybody's feedback. And if y'all dig it, and we'll try to get more and more people on, and maybe he'll come back if he has time. If y'all nice to him in the comment section. As always, please like our videos, the audio, whatever you're listening to via YouTube, Anchor, or whatever else, whatever iOS stream, Google streams, Spotify, wherever you're listening to this podcast or watching it. Always please support if you can. Thumbs up, 5 stars, blah blah blah. If you can support, there's also a support button, YouTube, also Anchor FM. Every little bit helps. Really appreciate it. So what we're really going to talk about here is this big heavyweight matchup between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. So I'm trying to get back into the scene, and this looks like the boxing heavyweights are on the rise again, right? They're making noise, as opposed to the heavyweight matchups in the MMA, especially specifically the UFC. It hasn't been a dominant champion in the UFC, even though you had Stipe, break the record with I think four title defenses in the heavyweight division, but he's not like a big knockout artist, even though he does have knockout power. And you have Daniel Cormier, who just defeated him, and now he's going to fight Derek Lewis, the Black Beast. Mr. My Balls is hot, which that'll happen. When is that? I can't remember. Is that November 30th? I think I have to double check that. But anyway, I'm gonna digress. I'm gonna get back into this boxing here. So, Paul, what are your thoughts on these two behemoths clashing on December 1st?
I think it's gonna be a good fight. Looking at Fury, he looks lighter. He looks a little faster, and it sounds like he's a little bit more technical. Deontay Wilder got a chin.
Yeah.
And we saw that when he fought Luis Ortiz. And to me, Luis Ortiz was the one everybody was scared of.
Yeah. Because of his punching power or what?
Yeah, his punching power, and he's very technical. He's a great boxer.
Did they ever figure out how old he really was?
I don't know. I heard someone say 49.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah.
43, whatever.
Yeah.
But he was the one everybody was scared to fight. Dante stepped up and said, "Let's do it." So that right there for me, that means he got heart and he ain't scared, to take the big challenge, and he did.
So
Um,
how is I guess going back, to when heavyweights were like the thing, like back in the '90s, that Tyson era,
yeah,
that he took over from the Ali era, to what it was, the Foreman era, and gosh,
Holmes.
yeah, Holmes. Thank you. I was like, I'm forgetting one. That whole transition, and then you had whatever, you had Spinks and a couple others, and um, man, yeah, you had Razor Ruddock. I mean, you had some
Yep.
guys that were big and powerful and that could command the mic, and not to mention towards the latter part of the '90s. So like, where's the heavyweight? I guess how do the heavyweights compare to that? Like in that era, like is it comparable, or is boxing
Mm.
still finding its way?
I think the heavyweights is still finding its way because, for one, back then they had way more. You could at least say 5 to 10 heavyweights that was very good, like you
Mhm.
just named off.
Yeah.
Um, Now to me, it's only 4 or 5, if that, and they keep switching. Um, but bottom line, they have a lot of red tape, more red tape probably than they did back then. So you gonna see the best. Back then, they know they had to fight the best.
Mhm.
Now, oh, I'm gonna pick this guy because I know I can beat him. That's the mentality that I see.
Okay. So is let's talk about the red tape. So is the red tape, do you mean like all these different organizations, right? The WBO, the
Yeah.
WBA, the WBF, the I don't even know, ABC, IB this, and
And then the
like,
network,
yeah, like
you know,
how many organizations are there right now, and like how many are legitimate? I mean, I know you used to have what, the undisputed heavyweight champion,
yeah,
but
yeah, and it's
how do you become undisputed if you have, like, do you have to have 7 belts, or
I
I don't
think
know.
I think it's the three main ones, uh WBO, WBC, and the third one is
Is that the WBA? Is that still around? I don't
that's
even
probably
know.
the WBA, but
Okay.
I'd have to check. But again, if you're gonna be a lot of these boxers now, everybody want to get Mayweather money. So, oh,
Mhm.
let me hold out. That's Mayweather.
Yeah.
You know, the guys that got hard to me is Tyson and Fury. I
Yeah.
think that's what's gonna make the fight good. Tyson is coming off of 2 years. He lost a lot of weight and he does look faster.
Hmm.
Um, and his mindset is different. Dante Wilder, to me, he's always had a positive mindset, and that's why he wins. He got hard because I really thought he was going to lose the Ortiz fight, but I was like, "What?" I
Right.
was shocked. People would ask me, and I'd be like, "I don't know, man."
Yeah. Yeah. So what you had, if I remember, I mean, again, I am not the boxing aficionado, so I kind of watched it while I playing on my phone at the same time. So what I remember is Deontay actually getting hurt, right? Taking like a decent amount of damage in there, right? And then being
Yes,
able to
he
come
did.
back.
He got hurt. He definitely got hurt, and then he came back, and I think he was hitting him at the body and the head,
Hmm.
and that's how he got him. But
Now,
Fury, when he fought Klitschko, to me, people may say different. I
hmm,
think he was at the end anyway when he beat him.
Klitschko,
Yeah,
end
when
of
he
his
beat,
career.
yeah,
Okay.
when he was at the end to me. So I really, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a great fighter. I ain't gonna
Hmm.
take nothing from the Klitschko boys,
Yeah.
but he was at the end. Um, And to me, it was about time for him to hang it up anyway.
Now, did he fight Klitschko? Did he fight anymore after that loss, or did he just call
Uh,
it?
I think they were supposed to have a rematch. But then that's when Fury started having mental issues or personal problems,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken, and it never happened, I don't think.
Yeah. So funny enough, shout out to DC United. Uh, so funny enough, as I'm adjusting my cap for those who are just listening to us on the just via audio. But earlier this week, I think Tyson Fury was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I haven't listened to it yet. Just I caught a snippet of it, and he had Tyson Fury on there, and he was talking about the mental issue battles that he's been having, and not realizing, that he was having, mental issues and serious bouts of depression. And he was saying after that victory, I guess the promotion didn't think that he was going to beat Klitschko, and then but in the contract he was supposed to renegotiate his next fight within 7 days. And so within 7 days, he didn't do any type of renegotiation. So that's how they stripped him. So I don't know if that's anything that you heard, but that was just news to me.
Yeah, after I because I watched a snippet of it and I really wasn't impressed with his style at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see how he's gonna do against Dante. Although he really doesn't, he's a brawler, like he said,
Yeah.
and but he got a chin.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely proved he had a chin going against Ortiz because he dropped some heavy B's on him, and he came through
Yeah.
and won.
Now,
Um,
what was also funny, or I shouldn't say funny, but interesting, was that in that interview with Rogan, um, Wilder said that he heard from very reliable sources that shoot, I just forgot his name. The guy he beat, the guy that Wilder beat,
Ortiz,
Ortiz went in there with high blood pressure. So he had poor blood circulation in his legs, but
right?
like, I'm getting this check. And so do what you gotta do to get me in the ring. So,
Yeah,
maybe that worked against him, but I guess that's it. I mean, of course, then Fury was using that as fuel for the fire, to discredit Wilder, as a professional and lacking in skill. Like, hey, you barely beat a guy that was suffering from, like major high blood pressure issues. Um, and he also made mention that, that that the dude was like 49. So just
yeah. But the old Fury, to me, if he's put it this way, if he fights like he did in his past,
mhm.
uh, I would say Dante. But I mean, he was training. He looks good, but he ain't fighting nobody either. He's just training. So, I mean, he looks like he definitely got himself together.
Mhm.
He looks way better than I seen him, and he looks like he really is ready. So, but again, he didn't. He was training. He wasn't really fighting anybody, so you can't really um, evaluate it until you see him in the ring.
Right, right. So I'm
You
looking
know,
at the stats here,
he never
and
lost, and
yeah, so
Dante never
both
lost.
of them are undefeated, right? So both of
Yep.
them are undefeated. Deontay Wilder is listed at 6'7", right? And then Tyson Fury is listed at 6'8 3/4. So if you want to just go ahead and round that up, I mean, you got a 6'7" guy against a 6'9" guy. I mean, that's those are some big dudes, man.
Yeah, and they both got long reaches,
Yeah, so Fury
especially
has an
Dante.
85 inch on Fury, and Wilder was as 83.
Yeah. So
So
if they, they probably pretty much will use that. But I can see Fury being more technical,
yeah.
just like Ortiz was. But again, Dante, some kind of way, I think he got a lot of heart, and he hit hard, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but he's knocking him down
Yeah.
or out. I think it'll be a good fight. But the heavyweight division, like you said, it's not. We got too much red tape in the way. And like I said, all of them want to make that Mayweather money instead of just saying, you know what, let me try to reach that goal, but don't not take a fight because oh, I'm not getting 300 million. You probably won't get that. You probably get 10. Be happy
Yeah.
with
Now,
it.
do you think this whole money Mayweather money error? Do you what is on my face? Do you think that that's what spilled over into MMA? Was do you think that may have been that attraction for at least Floyd to take on Conor McGregor in this ridiculous match? And please let's talk about that because I'm like I said, you're my boxing aficionado. I'm more than MMA, but seriously, man, that was nothing more than an exhibition match.
Exactly.
And you know, Floyd made a lot of money and Conor made a lot of money, but Floyd was in there toying with Conor the whole time. And
Yep.
I'm so sick of these people who are like, oh man, Conor did well. He went 10 rounds,
No.
blah, blah, blah. And it's like, did you see what happened when Floyd switched the gear or turned the switch on in that 10th round and just started mollywhopping homeboy? And it was just like, and the ref stopped. So you even so if you think about it, right? So it was a 2-year layoff for Conor between his last MMA match before he got mollywhopped against Habib, right? So his last and then what? So he lost against Habib. He lost against Floyd. I think he last beat Nick Diaz. Oh, excuse me. I believe that's Nate. Oh no, shit! Now I'm having a brain fart. But he lost to Diaz, and then I think he barely won because I rewatched that fight, and I'm not sure if he won that match. So dude is basically 1-3, 1-4 in his last couple of matches, right? And it just seems to me that now that flu or that like you're saying, like that money era. So now you got these boxers who are have different I guess representation, like they actually have rights as negotiating contracts saying no, and but they also get paid a lot more money than these UFC guys, right? They don't have to worry about a show and win money, right? So
Mhm.
like UFC, some of these fighters that don't have leverage, if you show up and you make weigh-ins, you make $50,000, right? And then if you lose, all you make is 50,000. But if you win, you get 50,000. But there's a bonus structure, and you can get awarded an extra $50,000. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money to the common man, but when you look at these boxers who are making $5-10 million on every pay-per-view, even the lesser known folks, but they're still headlining. It doesn't make any sense that say like Khabib versus Conor, one made 2 million, the other made 3 million. And this was the biggest or the highest selling MMA pay-per-view card in history, and one guy's making 2 million, the other guy's making 3 million. And how much money did Conor make when he fought Floyd, right? An estimated 80 to 100 million. So like the pay structure towards MMA is just it's all off, in my opinion. But it just makes you wonder, like how much money is the UFC really making?
Yeah.
You know,
And one thing that people don't look at. I mean, we think, oh, they just won $1 million, but there's people that they gotta pay,
Right, the
and then
cornermen and the camp and all that. Yeah.
yeah, and then you have to look at the fact that you have some slime balls out there that try to get them for more money. You know, their
Mhm.
promoter or whoever they got.
Right, because there's a
Then
promoter and then there's a manager, right?
yeah,
I mean, then there's the publicist people, and so there's a lot, that they got to pay for.
so you got to make and then they got their regular lives that they got to lead if they got a house or whatever they got going on.
Yeah.
So but they can be out of a job, you know, quickly, if whether they get hurt, whether they get brain damage, whatever,
Yeah.
and they need to be something has to happen so they can be compensated properly because they're not fighting every day. Like me and you, we work every day or every Monday through Friday or
Right.
whatever. They're not working like that, but when they do work, it's a big risk. I mean, they really could die, you know.
Yeah.
So they need to be compensated. And I understand them chasing the dollars, but when you get to a certain level where you're going to get paid regardless, um, then it's like Joshua. The next fight Dante should have been fighting was him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where was Joshua? So I don't really have people can say, oh, he's this and he's that and he's knocking people out. But to me, I don't I lost respect for him because to me, it's like if you claim to be the best in any sport, you gotta even Connor, you gotta give it to him. Regardless, he gonna, you know, I don't know if their structure is any different, but at least he gonna fight who they put in front of him, whether
Yeah.
he win or lose, you know.
Now, do you
But
think the Wilder versus Joshua fight would have been bigger than the Fury fight?
yes, hell yes.
All right.
Especially if they did it like, especially if they signed immediately, but now it might lose that. It might lose that fire that it had. Fury's a big talker. He always been a big talker.
Yeah.
He got into the ring with Dante before, and it was awesome. It
Right.
was awesome.
Well, look,
Um,
I found this clip um, that I wanted to play. I hope we don't get in trouble for it. It's from the Zone, and it's just basically about why Anthony Joshua decided to leave Showtime and sign up with the Zone, which is DAZN, and they are, I guess, some type of multimedia company that you can. It's a subscription based service that they offer, and I think if you pay like $9.99 a month, you get access to all kinds of pay-per-view events through their app or their website. I'm not sure if they have an app like for smart TVs or anything like that. But I guess they offered him a bunch of money. I believe it's Brian Campbell for CBS Sports Boxing is interviewing him on why he left. But apparently Joshua is the IBF, WBO, and the WBA heavyweight champion. But let's give it a little. Let's see what he's got to say about signing with the Zone.
Well, the Zone wins out for this fight. Your contract with Showtime ended when you defeated Joseph Parker. We thought there would be a giant bidding war. Showtime said all along, we've been loyal to him since the beginning. We expect loyalty back. What does the Zone move mean for the potential of you fighting on Showtime?
This is saying about loyalty. This is about making the right decisions for your career. We're all working together. There's HBO, there's Zone, there's Sky, there's other broadcasters. So it's not about I'm going to stay put because we're loyal. It's like being in an abusive relationship. You have to make moves for the better of your life. And
That's funny.
right now,
That's funny.
making moves for the better of my career. It's a good channel to be a part of, honestly, and I strongly believe that. And so is Showtime, so is HBO, so is Sky Sports. They're all unbelievable broadcasters. And one day I may, have a chance to box on HBO because I haven't had that chance yet. I've done Showtime, I've done Design, I've done Sky Sports, but it's no love lost. It's not just about being loyal, it's about making the right choices in my career because it doesn't last forever.
Huh. Interesting, right? It's all about the money. So I guess there's more than one way to make money out here, right? So I guess I guess there's been some backlash about that, about his signing. But if this was a big corporation, like would it be any different than? Why is it different for a corporation to go one direction or opposite direction than for a boxer to, right? Because apparently he's just looking out for his own. At the end of the day, he is the corporation, right?
Right.
But
Which is, to
go
me,
ahead.
that's understandable. I get it. But again, you're going after the money, but if you hold back too long, that's some money that you may end up losing because you won't end up fighting the person at all. So they need to, it got to be some kind of middle ground or something that these people can get so we can see the best fights out there.
Yeah, I know it's frustrating. I mean, just dealing with all those organizations. I mean, hell, even the UFC is frustrating as a fan. Like you got one mega organization, but because styles make fights, and UFC is also in this money era where they want the biggest names fighting, but it's not necessarily the best fighters that are fighting each other, right? So you have kind of the opposite. You have the organization that is making the decision on who's going to fight who, more so. Now granted, the fighters can say no, but since they are signed to an exclusive contract, right? So they don't have the ability to stay in the UFC and fight and then simultaneously go to Bellator or PFL or One Championship Fighting and try to fight for the belts there, as opposed, like I was just saying, that Anthony Johnson, he's the WBO, WBA, and the IBF champion. So how it's just kind of weird, right? Like, so a boxer can go to 3 different boxing federations and win a championship, but in MMA, that's specifically in the UFC now, and then they don't allow that, right? So like, how can you claim that you're the best? So everybody, just because of marketing, or just the market share, right? Everyone thinks the UFC is the best, right? But I mean, they are, but that doesn't mean there's some garbage fighters in the UFC, right? Because I've seen some garbage fighters in the UFC that had no business being in there, and I've seen fighters in Bellator and PFL and other places that need it or should be in there. And I think did Paul just drop off? Paul, are you there? Hold on. Let me see if I can get him back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. But yeah, but that's I would love to get everybody else's thoughts that are listening to the podcast, and again, thank you for taking your time out and listening to me and my co-host Sean Marshall and the guest hosts ramble on about stuff that we like, but that is interesting that people don't, you're not allowed to fight in different organizations. I mean, can they make it happen? Absolutely. But the organization just has to allow it, so just like who was it, Crow Cop, I believe Crow Cop was supposed to fight in the Bellator tournament, and I know this is supposed to be a um boxing dominant show, but this is head movement MMA. Hold on, let me see if I can get him back. So yeah, so you know, so he Crow Cop got permission from his current organization. I think he is with the one championship. I could be wrong. I'm not going to fact check, ladies and gentlemen, because you know that's what we don't like to do around here. Because this is purely opinion based for the most part. But you know, he got special permission to fight in the Bellator Heavyweight Grand Prix, and he you know, got injured, so he could not participate. There he is. He's back, y'all.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. That's technology. So I was just rambling, Paul, about so there's the fighter Mirko Krokop. He's in a different fighting organization. I think he's in one championship, and I'm not going to fact check. But he got special permission to fight from his current organization to fight in Bellator, right, in their Grand Prix heavyweight tournament. And Krokop has been around forever. He's fought in every division. He's been in Bellator. He's been in UFC. He's been in One. I mean, Pride. I mean, you name it, he's done it. You know, he's one of the forefathers in the sport. You know, he's 42, I believe. So he's been around and done that. So it's just kind of interesting. Like, you know, the smaller or less known organizations are more willing to allow kind of like what boxing does, right? Fight in different organization, win the belt. So now, you know, you have everyone, like, say, like the UFC, they want to keep everything close to the vest. It's like, this is my belt, you know, and if you want this UFC belt, you have to fight here in the UFC. You can't come from a different organization and challenge and then win the belt, because I don't want you going back to the other organization, because now that other organization has bragging rights, right? So it's a little different of a setup, you know, in the MMA world. So, and then they have it, you know, kind of locked tight. But anyway, so let's get back to this Wilder Fury. Like, how do you think they match up stylistically?
Wilder's, you know, he's not very technical. Fury is a little technical, so it's basically a brawler against a boxer. I think him fighting Ortiz, though, Ortiz was a boxer too, so I think that might help prep him. But Fury, he looks fast, but again, that's training. We'll see how he really looks when he's fighting Wilder.
Yeah. So if you had to make a fight prediction, I mean, which way would you go, and then what round would you call it in, and would you stop? Would you call it stoppage? Would you call it knockout, TKO? What?
I say 5th round Wilder.
5th round. Wow. 5th round Wilder. Stoppage or knockout? See with me, my stoppage with my MMA talk. TKO.
I probably knockout.
Wow. Okay.
That's me, though, you know.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I have no skin in the game either way. I look at Wilder and I just see a hot mess. You know, I mean, dude is just swinging for the fences. I mean,
it's crazy.
You know, I mean, if I as an outsider looking in, you know, specifically more in tune with MMA, I would, if this was an MMA fight, you know, not with rules, but just, you know, with this training wise, I would have to go with Fury, right? Because he seems more disciplined. You know, and he, like you're saying, he's more of a boxer. I don't know if he's a true pugilist, as what's his name? What's the dude? The other UK dude?
Joshua.
No. But before that, not Shannon Briggs. What is his name? Let's go, champ.
That's Briggs. I know.
No. You know the other tall. He was like 6'7" as all himself. The black dude.
Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis. Yeah, I'm a pugilist. Mate. I'm not a brawler. So I just think I don't
In his
know.
time, he would beat both of them. I think.
He probably would.
I
You know,
mean,
because
he
he
like I
beat a
said,
ton of brawlers, right? I mean, he beat a ton of brawlers. I mean, he was the boxing. You know, he was the pugilist. I mean, he matches up well.
but they had so many different heavyweights that were good,
Yeah.
and it's almost was with some of them. It was kind of hard to predict because when Lewis got knocked out, I think it was by Rockman. Everybody was like, "What?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know. So it was more up in the air, and you don't see. Yeah, they money hungry, but you also don't see that purebred desire that I just want to be the beat. I just want to fight the best and beat the best, and then I can say I am the best. You don't
Right.
see that hunger, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
I got you. Okay. Okay.
The other, uh, I think you kind of lose it when you get to the top. Mayweather, he was good, so he wasn't worried about trying to be the best. My favorite fighter though, uh, Dechenko and my boy from Nebraska, Crawford.
Uh-huh.
They hungry.
Yeah. Well, what
Yeah,
about your boy Triple G? I know you was a big Triple G supporter.
I think Triple G is going down. Is starting to, he's getting older for one, and for two, people was scared to fight him.
Well, what do you think about that last fight with him and Canelo?
I didn't watch it. I wasn't really pressed about the first one, so I didn't
Okay.
watch.
Why didn't you like the first one?
Cause my boy got robbed. Triple G.
Okay.
It's almost like, okay, in the light heavyweight division, you had Kovalev, who was the crusher, and when he fought Andre Ward, to me, in the first fight, usually whoever got knocked down, if it went the distance, the loser was the one that got knocked down.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen. I don't know, and I ain't taking nothing from Andre Ward. He is definitely one of the best. He really is.
Yeah.
But and then in the second fight, a lot of controversy saying that he did a lot of low blows, and it finally got to Kovalev. But I think too mentally, Kovalev wasn't. I think when you lose that, your mentals get broke down, and he got knocked out again. So now everybody's like he's exposed now. But everybody.
Do you think the fighters gain like a false sense of security by believing the hype? Have surrounded themselves by a lot of by the yes men and being fooled by the fame, kind of much like like Connor, like people saying that because his coach was like, all right, if the next training camp that he has, I want to do like a Rocky 3, right? They want to go into the woods and I ain't got time for you right now. They want to go in the woods and train and seclude themselves, right? Because Connor to me, he looked like a jackass. I mean, I used to like Connor, but kind of like the thing for me was, all the antics. And then I forget what fight it was. I think it was in Boston. I always want to say it was the show that they did in Baltimore, but I think it was in Boston when he ran out of the ring when Jose Aldo was in the audience, and he ran and jumped in his face and screaming and cursing, and he's there with family, and and it's just like, oh, he always wants to be held back, right? He's at the hold me back, yeah, and it starts yelling and screaming, I'm gonna kill you, and and even like there was like a press conference with Aldo. I believe it was Aldo, could be wrong. But when he grabs like a chair and he picks up the chair over his head like he wants to smash the other guy like at the podium, and like Connor grabs it or Dana grabs it, and it's just kind of like, dude, enough with the antics, man. Like, you know, you can go ahead and talk a little trash, you know, if you want, but he just, you know, overstepped his bounds, and of course, you know, Dana has just been appeasing him, and then now look what happens. You know, you got a guy who was just trying to you know, hype the fight up, right? You know, for his monetary gains, because he gets points, you know, from headlining that pay-per-view, and you know, because it's a champion, and then like, so get this, the champion of the division. Hold on. This is funny. This is funny. Hold on. What's up, man? Where you at? Listen, man, I'm live. I'm live on the air right now. Man, if you got time, oh, this is funny, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we're back to being a hot mess. Hold on. All right, all right. Check, hang up, check your email, and jump online. You'll see who I'm online with. All right, do your thing. Call me back or answer the link. Oh God, this is funny, y'all. This is funny. But anyway, so what was I saying, Paul? Oh yeah, so yeah, I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. But I know I was dogging Connor. But yeah, oh looky.
Come on.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Let you out of prison.
I'm surprised they let you out.
Oh,
they
man.
didn't. I broke out, son.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, Sean, can you turn your mic up? I can't quite hear you.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Yeah, turn your volume up. There you
know
go.
what? Let me do something here.
Okay.
Damn, I didn't know they let criminals out on weekend furlough.
You know? That's that work release. That's that work release.
I'm trying to change this. Hold on.
All right. Yeah. How about that? I mean, you know, show's almost over. I'm glad you could make it.
You want my protection? Can you hear me at all?
We've been talking about boxing, man.
Oh, boxing, schmucks, and come on, man.
Oh, here we go.
You know what? They finally get an exciting fight, and everybody wants to talk about boxing all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, they got way more exciting fights than their last one.
Oh,
Dante Wilder and Fury. That too. I mean, it's gonna be a good fight, but they got way more dudes that you can really see. You like boxing? There's better guys than both of them. Way better.
Well, I mean, I'm still trying to get back into it, man, and you know, at least for me, anyway, boxing has been lacking for 20 years almost. So,
yeah, but and then this what I see happening. This is what I see happening with the UFC. You got too much politics. When they first came out, you know, it was Joe Blow against Joe Blow, and they went at it, and they was hungry to win. But now you got politics starting to play in UFC, and that takes away from the sport.
Well, what's happening is the UFC is turning into boxing.
I thought it was turning into wrestling.
Me too.
With a dash of boxing. I should say a dash of wrestling and a whole lot of boxing.
Yep.
Man, you can't put boxing is that's just this one you know, form of fighting. You know, you go into mixed martial arts, that's just a whole different ballgame. There ain't no boxer out there going to last a second inside the octagon, hexagon.
I'm glad you know your shapes.
Stop it. Hey, real quick, I know you guys went over this, but who you got tonight?
Nah, we didn't go over this, homie. This is just a boxing episode.
On boxing. Okay, well, never mind.
Yeah, because I know you had some scheduling conflicts, so we just went over. We just been doing the boxing stuff tonight. So
I know he forgot to scratch his ass. He forgot to scratch his ass at 3 p.m. instead of 4 p.m.
Exactly.
That was his conflict.
Yeah. Yeah, but you still sound very far away, son. We need to, yeah.
That's the phone. I don't know where to go on my phone to turn it up.
I mean, that's what you get for having an iPhone. Boom, boom. Android for life. Android for life.
Nah, UFC is probably just getting too big, and that's why you got. I mean, you got to have 12 fights to lead to the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah.
Good evening. At least you got something for your money.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Paul. You know how many fight parties have you been to? I mean, what for boxing, you get that one pay-per-view main event, and then you got 5 fights that you have no idea who these jokers are.
Son, you remember what? Yeah, look, you remember what it was. It was always Christy, the coal miner's daughter, Martin, and then fighting some lady that they just pulled in from the local A&P bagging groceries.
Not the A&P. Come on now.
Mike Tyson knocking some dude out. That's all you got for your.
I mean, at least let him work at Trader Joe's. Come on,
like the dude.
Mike Tyson don't fight no more. So tell me something new. Tell me something new.
That's the formula.
Because you haven't seen Terrence Crawford. You haven't seen Errol Spence.
I didn't know the second one.
You haven't seen Gervonta Davis from Baltimore.
No.
Oh, we don't see Gervonta or Gervonta, whatever.
Wearing
that pink Smurf hat where he got his ass whooped. We've seen him.
Oh, that's right. He got pimp slapped. Didn't he?
Yeah, and like no discipline. He came in at 15, 20 pounds overweight.
Over.
Yeah.
But this will kill me with that one though. Everybody was talking so highly of him, but I didn't see anything. He's fast, and that's it.
Yeah. Because we are from the DC Baltimore area. So I mean, like, in the my son's in high school, and he knew everything about Gervonta. I'm like, I had no idea who this cat was. But he is popular amongst the high schoolers and preteens and the young adults. So, but I mean, he does have a fan following, but he got like too big for his britches.
Yep, you gotta, if you want to see a real boxer, you gotta watch Terrence Crawford. He is amazing because he will look like he's gonna lose. And basically, all he's doing is studying you and timing you. And then once he time you, that's your ass.
Yeah.
And he ain't scared to get hit. That's why people are starting to like him, because he ain't scared to get hit. He's not going to be like, he has been fighting, boxing 11 rounds. He won all rounds, and he's still willing to go in there and throw blows and, face to face, ain't running. And even his managers be like, dude, you got this. You don't have to. He be like, yeah, okay. And he go in there and fight. He got to give his best.
Yeah. That's until that money's on the line.
This is one question that I would love, and I'm going to probably keep answering or asking this question until I actually find somebody who can really justify. So if any of the listeners out there, if they know Freddie Roach, drop him a line and have him hit us up at info@Head Movement MMA, because I'd love to get him on this show, because he trains boxers and MMA guys.
Yep.
But why is it in boxing that it's frowned upon, if the boxer comes out there looking dry? And in MMA, you never see the guys come out looking like they've been working out and worked up a good lather in the back. I just want to get a good answer for that.
Well, you know what? Well, look, I've been a trainer for years, right?
Oh shit.
I mean, think about it. Of course, they want to get up a good lather. Well, that depends on if you're a wrestler. If you're not a wrestler and you're going against a wrestler, would you want to work up a lather?
I didn't say anything about wrestling. That's another show.
Oh, my MMA, son.
That's the T. Hinkle show. We ain't talking about wrestling.
Kind of crap I deal with every single podcast.
Well, they don't. Well, listen. They don't start out wrestling in MMA.
Oh, as quickly as they can.
I don't recall Connor doing that.
I think for boxing, it's just they got to get warmed up and loosened up so they can do their thing. Because, I mean, that was a big deal. They don't mention it as much in boxing like they used to. But most times, the dry guy would usually end up getting tired faster, and then he would lose.
Right. That's kind of the point, right? Like,
yeah,
the game plan is different. But even though, I mean, the spacing is different, you know, from a traditional boxer and someone who does MMA, right? Your whole spacing is different. Your timing is different. Your punches are slightly different at an angle. You're more disciplined in the delivery of your punches, your jabs. You know, boxers are definitely more prone to throw combos. You know, the body and the head, body, head, body, whatever. And you never really see on a steady basis like MMA guys, like, you know, throw combinations. And then it's so funny, like when they do, it generally works. But the MMA guys are so worried about, you know, getting hit with a knee, a head kick, or whatever, a leg kick, that they traditionally will only just throw one limb out there and in fear of catching, you know, a head kick or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, that's why I think because I remember you mentioned it before, and I'm like, they got to watch everything in MMA. You can't just watch hands or your shoulder. You know, a lot of people in boxing, they like to keep their eyes on the shoulders, and on top, you know, so they can telegraph the punch. In MMA, you looking up, and you might get a knee to the groin or whatever y'all be doing.
What are you talking about, knee?
I don't even know about that one. I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
In MMA,
no, but they got to watch everything though in MMA. You know,
low leg kicks, baby.
Yeah, the leg kick, the push kick up, and all that. It's just,
you know what? Ask Uriah Faber about that.
But honestly, I don't see any finesse in MMA like I do in boxing.
I know we like to talk silly, but you just go way overboard. No finesse in MMA.
There is no finesse. I haven't seen it.
I mean, excuse me. Oh, shit.
Who?
You got me all fired up.
You talking about Connor?
I'm talking about Eddie. There's plenty of fighters right now in MMA. You know.
That have finesse? I don't see it. I ain't never seen it.
Out of your damn mind. You trying to tell me that there's no finesse in, you know, jiu-jitsu? You trying to tell me that? You don't know what finesse is then. That's all.
I haven't seen it. I'll say that it's not there, but I haven't seen it. To me, it's checkers.
Yeah, well, you know, his eyes are still young.
Boxing is check.
That's true.
Yeah, his eyes are still young. So
yeah, seriously, I haven't seen it. So
he needs to join his nearest Shotokan.
Yeah. I'm a turquoise belt.
Yeah, I haven't seen it though. I think I might have seen it once or twice.
Yeah, because you're looking,
but not
for
often.
You're looking for boxing, and in a street fight, in a brawl, son, there ain't no such thing as boxing finesse.
But UFC ain't street fighting though.
Exactly.
Well,
I don't even know where you're going with that point, John.
The next best thing.
If it would look, if UFC was street fighting, Conor would have been dead already. He got choked out before. And he would have been dead about 3 times.
There is some truth.
UFC is not street fighting, bro.
I wish you
no.
You invited me on.
The close you're gonna see the street fighting is bare knuckle.
No, would you stop it?
Don't you let this boxer come on this MMA show and outpoint you.
Talking about and boxing ain't nowhere close to street fighting. I'm saying MMA is a lot closer than boxing.
I mean, I don't know. Well,
stop it.
I know. I mean, Paul knows what kind of street fighting I do. So I don't know what kind of street fighting you do, Sean Marshall, but we don't go to the ground.
Nah, ain't no ground, ain't no pound.
Ain't too many guys, to take me down to the ground.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Wait till I see you, JB, in the office, son. Double leg. Out of nowhere.
You can catch this knee trying to take a single double leg or single leg. Don't you worry about that. Yeah, I'll send Chuck Liddell some tape and let him know who's got the best sprawl in the game. Yeah, you want to see a sprawl?
Trying to say black ice?
Black ice. I hit it with that soup bone, son. Yeah, no, I ain't got time for all that, man. I ain't got time for all that. Remember, I used to walk around in high school. I used to wear the little dress pants, so I couldn't get dirty, man.
Hey, real quick, I gotta get ready to jump up. But who do you guys have in the Tyson Fury and what's his name coming up?
Go ahead, Paul. Tell him who you picked.
I pitched Wilder in the 5th round.
5th?
Yeah, he said 5th. What you got, Sean? What do you call?
I mean, I'm taking Wilder, but man, I don't know about 5th round.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty progressive there, but I don't know.
No, I'm going by his past fighting style.
Yeah.
And what I saw before, I wasn't impressed. He definitely looks better though. Fury looks really he looks real healthy. He done slimmed down a lot.
Yep.
He looked good training and beating up the air, but like I said, until you see him in the ring with somebody,
No, I get it. I tell you what, his mind sounds like his mind's in the right place. So.
Yep.
But I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think they're bringing some fire, man. That's what I like. They're bringing some fire to boxing. Boxing's lost quite a bit, man. I like this. I like the fact that they're bringing something back to the heavyweight division.
Yeah. Because right, and truth be told, like Joshua to me right now, I mean, and he's good, but he doesn't interest me at all. Like, if you say, "Oh, he's going to fight," I'll be like, "Yeah, okay."
Right.
And, the Tyson Fury, Wilder and Fury fight, I think it's going to be good because Fury's coming back headstrong, and he's going to be hungry to get that title back. And then maybe he'll fight AJ.
Okay, Anthony Joshua. Well, how about this? We've been running long on time here, but I know Sean's in front here because I think we may jump back on later tonight. Do a fight companion for the co-main and main events. But let's just run down on this UFC card real quick. I mean, I'm not sure who these bums are. I shouldn't say bums, not really. But I mean, you got Alex Garcia, the Dominican Nightmare, against Court McGee. I mean, you got 15-4 against 19-6. I mean, I have no idea who Court McGee is. I mean, I've seen Garcia before. Pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. How do you got it, Sean?
Am I breaking up?
Yeah, break it up a little bit. I'm gonna just go ahead with Alex Garcia for the win. Just straight up decision.
I'm taking the savvy veteran, Court McGee.
All right, sounds good. All right, who you got, Paul? Just throw out a name, Garcia or McGee.
I'm gonna say Garcia.
All right, there we go. John Vellante versus Ed Herman. Vellante's always game at 16-10, but Ed Herman's coming in 24-13.
I got whoever's fighting Ed Herman, because Ed Herman loves to get knocked out.
Yeah, Mr. Short Fuse. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go with John Vellante myself also.
Yeah. It will. I tell you what, it will end in spectacular fashion. I promise that.
I mean, I think it's a fight of the night contention for sure.
Right.
You know. What about you, Paul? Vellante or Herman?
Vellante. I'm gonna say Vellante because Herman sounds like a nerd.
Well, all right. Well, you got next up is Andre Sukumta, aka Soccer Mom, versus Jonathan Martinez. It looks like Jonathan Martinez. This may be his pro debut in the UFC. And this is, I think, Andre Sukumta's first fight after that ridiculously loss against Shane Sugar Show, whatever his name is. But Jonathan Martin's coming in at 9-1. So wherever he's coming from, he's had some success. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. So who you got, Sean? The Soccer Mom or Martinez?
Soccer Mom.
What about you, Paul?
Soccer Mom, I guess. I don't know. I don't know who these people are.
I'm gonna go with the newcomer Martinez. Because I don't think Andre maybe is I don't know, mentally strong anymore. Yeah, I don't know. He may have something to prove. I hope he can pull it off. I mean, I think he's got a promising career. And shouts out to Sukumta if you ever hear this. Thanks for the follow on Instagram, even though I'm still on Instagram jail. All right, so then we got Misha Serkinov, another Russian from Latvia, against Patrick Cummings. You know, he's the guy who's got that handlebar mustache.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, you know, you got a number 11 Misha against number 14 Patrick Cummings. I mean, I think this should be another good solid fight. I mean, I think I always like Patrick Cummings, and that I'd always give him a puncher's chance, but I think Misha is going to put it together. Second round victory. Who you got, son?
Cummins.
All right, Paul. Who you got?
The Russian.
All right, Serkinov. There you go. All right, come on, Sean Marshall.
Cummins.
God damn, you can say you're coming. Just pick a fighter. Anyway, that's he's got issues. Anyway, so we'll skip him. Huh?
Cummins.
We heard you the first time.
I know, the first 6 times. What are you on a treadmill? You just walking in. So there it is. The treadmill. It's walking in place. I'm coming. Going nowhere quick. Did you turn your mic off?
No, can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Hear that little squeaky voice. Put some bass in that thing. Say something.
Cummins. I said Cummins.
All right, anyway.
I know.
Anyway, so now let's just jump up to the co-main event. Michael Johnson stepped in, against Artem Lobov. Michael Johnson stepped in with 2 weeks' notice. He actually missed weight, I believe, by 3 pounds. But I guess they have a 1 pound limit, so technically he was only 2 pounds. But
Yeah, did you hear what Artem Lobov said?
yeah, which is pretty cool. He was like, I'm not going to take your 20%. You keep it, and let's get it on.
Yeah, he said thanks for taking the fight, basically. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Johnson, I think he's gonna lay him out in the first round.
yeah, I mean, Michael Johnson loves just throwing hands, man. I mean, he's got them skinny ass legs, and I bet you if he worked on that lower half, I mean, he'd start knocking dudes out. But God bless, man.
He's got power.
Between him and John Jones with these skinny ass, non-existent legs, these calves, man, like God bless. I mean, don't they know that the power comes from the hips? I mean, you can't knock anybody out. I mean, good thing you can throw them elbows, but
I know what you're laughing at. I wish you had skinny legs like that.
What? you over here body shaming me on live air? Body shaming. Some old chick shit. But yeah, I got Michael Johnson too. I mean, Lobov is 14-14. You know, I think Johnson will take it, and this might, I don't know if that'll get Johnson back in the top 15, but right now he's under the top 15. All right, and then the main event is Volkan Ozdemir at number 2. I think this is his first fight back after his loss against Daniel Cormier for the belt, right? And I believe that's correct. Yeah. And then against Anthony Lionheart Smith, who's kind of been the career ender. What's going on over here? Bobby, am I being mocked?
No, this Wyatt Earp era wannabe. And his facial expressions is killing me.
Oh Lord, he's a comedian.
Yes, he is.
So who you got in this fight, Sean?
Anthony Smith, dude. I like this kid.
Yeah, do you think he's gonna keep on his streak of dominating fighters?
Oh yeah, he's gonna knock him out.
So he's at 10, and this is only his 3rd fight at light heavy.
Mark my words. Gonna knock him out.
He's going up against somebody who just fought the great Daniel Cormier.
And looks silly doing it.
Oh, this is true. There's a big jump from number 2 to Cormier. So
yeah,
I mean, I like Anthony's comeback here. I mean, I wish him nothing but the best. Mm-hmm. If he wins, I will be ecstatic. But if he doesn't put it together, I won't be surprised. So I'm going to go with Volkan Ozdemir for the win, but with an asterisk. I'm really rooting for Anthony Smith. So, but yeah. So what about you, Sean? What say you?
Oh shit.
I mean, Paul, where you at? Did you drop off too?
No, I'm there.
All right, who you got in this fight?
I'll go Anthony Smith.
All right. What wrong with your phone?
Well, I had to switch over to my tablet.
Oh, look at him. He's got all kinds of technology. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to say. I mean, we ran a good podcast today. We talked about boxing, boxing for you other foreign speakers. That is my trilingual.
All right, I got to hit it.
You got a what?
I got to get.
Yeah, I got to get to. So, thank you, Paul, for chiming in. Thanks, Sean, for getting in here the last bat and cleanup, I guess we could say. So until the next time is the right time, head moving out, y'all. Peace.
All right. Later.